our live streaming process. I'm Dr. Sheila
Yes, it's
Jackson,
going through the
Director
mixer.
of
I'm just not getting
Department
it
of
on
Family and
my
Community Partnerships within
audio
our
switcher
Division
right
of
now. Why
Communications
aren't
and
I?
Community
That
Engagement.
these recommendations will contribute to improvements in on-time arrival, transportation safety, and timely communications, which together will set the stage for an improved student transportation experience. The 5 prioritized recommendations are: first, school start and end times have shifted. This is also referred to as our school bell times, and that work was completed this past spring. Number 2, bus stop locations are moving. This movement is the result of bus stop consolidations. Third, are you in the bus zone? The transportation system is conducting a walk zone audit of bus stops that are located close to schools to determine if a bus is still needed for each stop. Fourth, don't need a bus? Tell us. This is also referred to as an opt-out option for families to no longer receive transportation if not needed. And lastly, number 5, track in the app. We have heard clearly from our community the concerns regarding the StopFinder application. This recommendation is focused on improving the functionality of the app and the overall customer service provided to families. So this year represents phase 1 of a multi-year and multi-phase improvement process, where we plan to continue to enhance transportation service through implementing these prioritized recommendations, engaging the community in deliberate ways to ensure a collaborative approach, such as tonight's town hall, and thirdly, evaluate our progress using defined metrics. I will now turn the presentation over to Director Baldwin to review the recommendations in greater detail.
Good evening. Recommendation 1. We have shared this progress monitoring slide to represent key actions, communications and engagement measures, and reporting measures to all stakeholders. Our transportation team has worked through major key actions, such as consolidating stops and repairing trips as part of what we call the summer cleaning. We are receiving student information in order to assign students to appropriate bus stops. As we begin the school year 24-25, our team will continue to monitor key performance indicators such as the number of trips per tier. And as of today, this recommendation is on track for full implementation. Next slide. Recommendation 2. We have shared the finding that 76%, 65,000 students have a bus stop 0.24 miles or less from their home residence. We have extended this walking distance to an average of 0.46 miles from the current average of 0.24 miles. This adjustment has been placed where appropriate. Please keep in mind that our administrative procedure is 1.5 miles for elementary and 2 miles for secondary students. Our focus has been given to our elementary students to keep a shorter walking distance. And as of today, this recommendation 2, consolidated stops, is on track for full implementation. Again, we will measure these changes over the next months. Recommendation 3, our walk zone audit. Our team conducted initial walk zone audits to ensure safe passage opportunities. In our discovery, we noticed we needed some important partners to help validate this process further. Our safety and security team will now be a part of any further reviews concerning safe passage inside our walk zones. Key actions here included creating an evaluation plan to address each stop for safety and training staff on the use of this evaluation tool. Currently, we plan on conducting or being part of monthly meetings with county agencies, including a crossing guard unit, the Department of Public Works and Transportation, and our school resource officers. And as of today, this recommendation 3 is on track for full implementation. Recommendation 4. This is our codified opt-out process. Our data and accountability group provided parent surveys toward the end of the school year. We received around 3,000 requests to opt out of transportation. Parents are able to continue to opt out through the online registration portal found within Synergy. All requests will be handled by the school's registrar. Parents will be able to see all information within the Parent View portal. Key actions here included integrating the opt-out process into the student information system and optimizing trips for decisions made from the opt-out decisions of our parents. Here again today, recommendation 4 is on track for full implementation. And finally, recommendation 5, enhance customer service. Like Dr. Coleman has stated, we've heard all parents the frustration that we've had in dealing with the parent app. So we've kind of refocused our attention to 2 key deliverables here. One, for our parents to be able to use the StopFinder app and see the location of the bus and receive notifications when the bus is picking up or dropping off your child. And second, receiving updated communications through the StopFinder app and our school messenger application if the bus is significantly late, and that's 15 minutes or more. We will be monitoring key performance indicators such as our number of user accounts, the number of geo alerts that have been created, and as well, this recommendation is on track for full implementation. All right, at this point, I'll turn it back over to Dr. Coleman.
Keeping in line with our discussion of the StopFinder app, this summer, our Transportation Department, in conjunction with the Division of Information Technology, conducted live demonstrations of the StopFinder app. The purpose was to demonstrate the useful tools of the application once the parent has downloaded and activated an account. The demonstration included Department of Transportation and Information Technology staff and select board members. This experience yielded valuable feedback that resulted in the creation of informational videos that will be released to the public and several program enhancement requests made back to the vendor. Additionally, we are placing communication staff at each bus lot. We have 12 bus lots, so there will be communication members at each of those 12 bus lots to support the process of conducting timely notification of bus updates. If we can hold on, please. Okay, thank you. To maximize the benefits of the StopFinder app, it's important for every parent to do 3 things, and this is very important, so I'm going to emphasize this. We know that we've opened up a new student information system. We've gone from SchoolMax in the past to now we have Synergy. So in the Synergy system, there is a parent portal called Parent View. We need every family, all of our families, to first download or create a Parent View account. That's number 1. Create a Parent View account. 2, activate the StopFinder app when you receive the link. So when you download or activate your Parent View account, you'll be sent an active link to then sign up for StopFinder. We need parents to activate that StopFinder link. And then 3rd, set up geo alerts to allow the app to send you push notifications to your cell phone. That will allow the app to be fully functional. You'll not only see the bus as it travels on its trip path, you'll also receive notifications when the bus goes through what's called the geofence. The geofence is set up, you can set it up over the bus stop, and you can set it up over the school. So every time the bus travels over that geofence, it'll signal to you that your child is being picked up. And then when it gets to the school, it will go through that geofence and signal that your child is being dropped off. And then it'll do the reverse in the afternoon. So we're going to show a short video, it's only 2 minutes, that discusses how to set up your StopFinder account.
This StopFinder school bus app is going to be a lifesaver.
Wait, what? What's StopFinder?
The StopFinder app tells you where your bus stop is and the current location of the bus.
Oh wow, how do I get the app?
Mom, you have to enroll in PGCPS Parent View. Then you'll receive an invitation to activate the app. Here's the important part. Families must have an up-to-date email address in Parent View in order to activate the subscription.
So no up-to-date email.
No StopFinder. Once the email is verified, families receive a notice to download and activate the account. Use your email and password to enter the app. The student's information automatically populates because you are already in the PGCPS school system. Click on any date at the top of the screen to see the bus pickup and drop-off information.
So how can I see the current location of the bus?
That's easy, Mom. Next to the student's name, tap the ellipses menu for the student and select Map. Click the Map button below or tap on the trip and the map of the bus route will display. At the bottom of the screen, click on the bell to create geo alerts, which allows the app to send you a notification when the bus enters the zone. You can name the zone and save it.
Wow, I like this app already.
You can also move the zone to position it and change the size of the alert zone with the slider. Then save it. At the bottom of the screen, notifications can be set up to tell you when the bus enters or departs the alert zone.
I like notifications.
More information can be displayed by tapping the map's icon. Geo alert notifications will be sent to your device in the app or on your phone as a push notification. Watch the bus move and know exactly where it is.
Wow, this is going to make my life much easier and less stressful.
Yeah, Mom, it's all about modest changes, better service, everyone benefits.
Visit the PGCPS website to learn more about Parent View and the StopFinder app.
So thank you so much to our communications and transportation team for creating that video, and there are also a series of other videos to support families' understandings of the other recommendations in this action plan, and those will be rolled out to the community shortly. So this transportation action plan is designed to be implemented over multiple years. Given this is the first year, we are looking to make progress but not promise perfection. It's important to say that again. We are working hard to make progress with our transportation system, but we are not promising that it will be perfect. We know that Prince George's County Public Schools is one of the 10 largest student transportation systems in the country. The size of our district and the number of our programs that we offer make improvement a complex and monumental task. We also know that there is still a national bus driver shortage and attendant shortage. With that said, we are committed to implementing this plan, monitoring key performance indicators, and making adjustments where necessary to support improvements. This includes bolstering our targeted hiring efforts to include social media and digital advertisements to reach people directly. As we implement the 5 recommendations, it is very important to us to monitor the progress of the plan. We will continue working. Let's advance the slide if we could. I'll keep going and the slide will catch up. We will continue working with the third-party transportation consulting firm Formative in the ongoing data collection and analysis process. They have been positioned to provide us with quarterly data reports on the metrics listed here, as well as others to support our continuous improvement efforts. This data will be shared with all stakeholders, including our Board of Education, at regular intervals throughout the year. At this time, I will turn the presentation over to Director Cunningham to discuss safe passage.
Good evening, everyone. Again, my name is Gary Cunningham. I'm the Director of Safety and Security for the Prince George's County Public School System. And we know as we implement changes, everybody's not always happy with what we do. So one of the things that we want to do is we want to make sure that there's an appeal process. We are committed to ensuring that your child has the best, safest route possible to walk to school. So to do that, we've put in a process so that you can appeal any decisions that have been made as it relates to changing of bus routes. We will utilize the transportation resolution system to submit the request for review for those changes. Once the request is received, it will go to the appropriate department, whether it's the transportation department, the security department, or other agency within the school system. And the person making the request will receive an update and a resolution to whatever their concern was. We know that the different requests will come in for different departments, so there's a process for every one of the requests that come in. If it's a new school that's being built, new construction in the state of Maryland requires that there is a Safe Walk to School Act that requires us to do a safe route check for every school. So every school that is built in the state of Maryland, there is a requirement that we meet with the Department of Public Works and Transportation or the State Highway Administration and look at the walking routes to those schools. If there are bus stop changes that are made and you disagree or you'd like them to be reconsidered, the transportation resolution system will also route that to the transportation department. They will send out a field supervisor. That supervisor will take a look at that request and make a determination as to whether or not that change should be reconsidered. Oftentimes, we will get requests for traffic signal changes or traffic calming devices. The Prince George's County Department of Public Works and Transportation and the Maryland State Highway Administration process those requests. They have a system in place where they will go out, they will do a traffic safety study and make a determination as to what needs to be done with that location. Crossing guards. Occasionally we'll get requests for crossing guards. Those requests are handled by the Prince George's County Police Department. We meet with them on a regular basis to talk about those changes and ensure that the priority stops are covered by that crossing guard activity. And then occasionally we will get requests for safety concerns that are not police related. We will manage those within the safety office. We will send someone out to take a look at those requests to determine what appropriate actions will be taken. And we'll also have some that will be referred to the police department. So we do have a process in place, and everything that we do, the requester will receive some type of response letting them know what we've done or whether or not, or what type of update is available. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Cunningham. Our next set of slides, kind of geared for our parents, preparing for the start of school. And then what do you need to know? So the first thing is about the transportation assignments. Our team works hard. We have our own internal deadlines that we have to meet in order to produce the trips and the routes and the bus stops for our families. So there are some things that we needed to have in place, and I'm sharing them with you tonight. Primarily, the first thing is about registration. We need to make sure that every child is registered. If a child is not registered in our Synergy system, I can't give them a bus stop because I pull that information from Synergy to my transportation system in order to assign a bus stop. So we want to make sure that all students are enrolled. We set a date that by August, any student that has registered by August 7th in that school, we're going to pretty much guarantee that they have a bus stop by the first day of school. Now, if you did not, don't worry, because as long as if you're in that system beyond that August 8th date and hopefully prior to next Wednesday, you may have that stop for you. We just ask that you continue to check systems. We will also mail postcards. So the address that you have on file that's in Synergy or in that Parent View portal now, that is the address that we will be mailing postcards to. And these postcards have your bus assignment on them. We're going to be mailing those out beginning next week. If you have a discrepancy once you receive your postcard between what's written on that postcard and what's in your Parent View portal, I want you to go with the Parent View portal, okay? Because that's the most up-to-date information. As we and as you and parents are still enrolling students, that information continues to flow. And so we may have to change a stop, relocate it, reassign it, or whatnot. So we want to make sure that that information is available to you, and the most up-to-date information will be in that Parent View portal for you. Late registration, as I mentioned before, if you registered late and are not assigned a bus stop, you can submit the request through our transportation resolution system. Bus assignments will be available in Parent View 3 to 5 days after enrollment is confirmed. Understanding enrollment, we need to make sure that all students are fully enrolled. And if you have questions about that, I have to refer you back to your school and their school registrar to make sure that you have a complete enrollment. Once that information is free and clear in the system, I get it, and I need that 3 to 5 day turnaround to produce a bus stop and put it back into that Parent View system so that you can see it. The opt-out portion here, again, if you do not need a bus, tell us. Very important for us to improve on our accuracy and our actual count. The more of an actual count of ridership we have, the better chances we can produce an on-time arrival to school and to home, okay? Oh, moved too fast, didn't I? All right, StopFinder app, right? Yeah, here we go. So parents, as we've said before, the StopFinder app is your tool for tracking the bus. It's also your tool for your stop assignment. You can also see that if you are not able to get into your Parent View, you can log into your StopFinder app if you already have an account. It just flows over, okay? But one key point in this, in order for you to see your route number and bus number, you gotta go to the first day of school. So if you look today, you're not gonna see anything. So you gotta swipe on your calendar to August 26th. Once you get there, you should see a route number and particularly a bus number. That way we know that that's an absolute and up-to-date route bus assignment for you, okay? But we do want to increase the usage of our families accessing the StopFinder app. Last year, we sent out roughly 60,000 invitations. Only about 23,000 of those were ever activated, right? And so, and then out of that 23,000, only about 5,000 folks really activated their geo alerts. The geo alerts allow us to do the push notifications to you to say the bus has arrived to that area and departed from that area. So we really want to increase the usage of our families with that StopFinder app, which creating that geo alert is very important here. If you need assistance, submitting requests through our transportation resolution system is the easiest way. We do have a call center that will be available from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. And we're gonna be open on the weekend, the 23rd through the 25th, or excuse me, the 22nd through the 25th, with extended hours Saturday and Sunday. We know the first weeks of school are very important to us and to you, but we face uncontrollable situations, traffic conditions, the new experience of first-time bus riders. Our drivers are still getting used to their routes, and your student. The afternoon, the schools will take their time to load students because they want to make sure they put your student on the right bus. So they may run over the departure time that we have set for them to leave school. We know that happens. That's okay. We do that. That may occur for the first week. So we ask for your patience and a little grace as we get this started, okay? The delays in leaving school, leaving our stops, some of that stuff we cannot control all the time. But we definitely want to be able to share what's happening that's causing that bus to be late. So please understand and please give us your grace for that. For information to view, for more information and to view our frequent asked questions, please visit our transportation FAQ page. And thank you for your attention to these important details, and we look forward to a very successful year. At this time, I'm going to turn it back over to Dr. Jackson for comments.
So, ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for us to open the floor for your opportunity to come to the mic and ask questions. Just a few directions to get us started. When the period starts, each person present in this auditorium who desires to ask a question may come to the microphone that's here in the floor. And when you are called upon by our panel, we ask that you please be careful, not careful, but succinct in your responses, because we want as many people as possible that are present here tonight to have an opportunity to ask a question and to receive an answer to your question. We also ask that when you're asking your question, that you remember that this is a question and answer period. It's not an opportunity for soliloquies or speeches. It's really about helping our team make sure that we can respond to the concerns that you may have. So we're asking that when you come to the microphone, please state your name, slowly spell your last name to support our ASL interpreter, share your role and your school affiliation, and please, as you're addressing the panel, use titles rather than names, and refrain from using any inappropriate language. This presentation is being live streamed to our larger community, and we want to make sure that we ensure proper protocol as we're addressing each other. Again, we want to thank you, and we want to hear from everyone. We started on time, we promised to end on time, and we're going to do our best to support each and every person who has a question tonight. So at this time, the mic is open.
Good evening. My name is Michelle Smallwood, S-M-A-L-L-W-O-O-D. My question, I'm a parent and an employee within the school system. My children will attend Vansville Elementary, and I work at Francis Fuchs ECC. I do like StopFinder, say something positive, when it works. I will try the Geo Alert this school year. My children rode the bus, and my question is, will you consider giving StopFinder to the teachers for your lower grades? My children StopFinder was not working the day my children did not come home. When I went to the school, they had no idea. And if the office had the StopFinder, I think they would have been able to contact all the parents quickly. I was left off the roster that day. So my question is, will you consider giving StopFinder to the classroom for those teachers to track buses as they come in and out each day?
Thank you for that question. That's a good point. We may not be able to directly allow teachers and school officials access to StopFinder because it's a closed system primarily set for parents to manage. As an alternative, we are working, we will have something in place where the schools may have access to see the direction of the bus in a passive sense, not necessarily in an active side, but maybe in the passive side. But we also are in communicating more. So we have staff that will be situated at the bus lot, as Dr. Coleman mentioned earlier, and they are going to kind of sit right beside the bus lot staff. So any changes that are made, so if they know the bus is running late, we can immediately send you a school messenger, a robocall out, and let you know. And we're going to update that StopFinder app. So there should not be, we're going to minimize those instances where the StopFinder doesn't work. Because I know when you see it and it's not working, I know why it's not working. and we're working to minimize that. So if it's within the school hours, you should be able to see that app, and you're going to be able to see that bus. If you're not seeing it, you should be getting some push notifications or or other communications to let you know that bus status. All right? Thank you.
Hello, my name is Martaja Henderson. I'm a parent. I have a student at Benjamin Fuloy and Academy of Health Sciences. They're both going to be new to those schools this year. I have a couple of questions, so I don't know how we're going to work this, but I've had experience with 4 different schools in the county, and I've noticed that the capabilities of the schools when it comes to transportation updates varies widely. For example, at one school, if a bus was involved in an accident, we would immediately get a notification from the school. At another school, they said that they have no way of knowing anything about buses and what happens to buses. And so we wouldn't get those same updates. And I would literally be sitting in my car getting updates for one school and no updates for the other. And I just didn't understand how certain school secretaries could help the broader school community and others couldn't. And maybe that's something transportation could help with. Kind of piggybacking off of the prior question, will students be able to access the StopFinder information? I'm going to have a high schooler. There may be days when she has to get herself to the bus stop, and so that could be helpful instead of her trying to contact me at work and I'm in a meeting and I can't get her the information. Do you want me to stop?
Well, it depends. How many questions do you have?
Let's try to keep it short.
Let's do that one real quick.
Okay.
All right. As a parent, and when you receive that invitation, and I'm assuming you already have the StopFinder app, well, there's a portion where you can share access to the app. So a phone number and an email address. Okay. You can share that with your older student. If you, from that standpoint, are any family members that are in tune to helping manage your child, your students before school, after school, you can share that. That's what I was talking about. The system is a closed system for security, so you as the parent have the right to share that information with anybody you wish, okay? And if you need some assistance, we can show you how to do that after this meeting, if need be.
As opt-outs, this is the first time I've heard of opt-outs. As those kind of increase, do you anticipate, and I haven't used bus transportation in 2 years, so the prior 2 years, we just drove into school. But do you anticipate that there will be drastic changes to our schedules as more parents opt out and as the word gets out?
Well, it's possible, but right now, we received about 3,000 requests to opt out. And right now, that number, that's one of the numbers I kind of check daily, it's not increasing in a manner that we're going to see drastic changes. All right. So right now, the reason it's a default right now, because if you didn't respond to the survey earlier before the end of the school year, and from that point, you would still get a bus stop. Right? And so this was just a first stage of that. Next year, we may look to do something different, where we may look to opt in for transportation, meaning that we're going to give you some time and you have to tell us if you want transportation or not. That's where we're going to gain some significant changes from that standpoint.
I have a quick recommendation. I know Parent View isn't maybe under your purview, or maybe it is under the COO's purview, but just a faster link to where that website is would be helpful, because I have to click all around to find it. Same for the StopFinder links. I mean, I found them, but it just was difficult for my phone.
Thank you so much for that feedback. The Parent View Student Information System is under our Division of Information Technology,
Okay.
But we'll certainly take that recommendation back.
And then finally, I read a news article that said that you guys would be actually having a human look at the route maps. And is that still the case? Do you all have time for that?
So We started this project, we presented it to the board, I think last January, and we hit the ground running in February. So I've had team members looking at stops from February up until August, where we've put eyes on bus stops, we've put eyes in the walk zone. So, and what that does, it becomes a continual process. So we're gonna constantly review because we have students that move in, our boundaries sometimes will change, situations may change, they're growing, we're building roads, and so we're keeping in contact with the DOT and the county officials for any changes. They do a really good job to communicate with us when they're getting ready to do road construction, and it may hinder a bus stop, and we may have to reroute and all of that. So I feel good and confident that we are going to be kept up to date, and when that information comes to us, we can share it to you if it's impactful on your student's ride. All right. Thank you for your questions.
Good evening. My name is Tobia Mangdun, Mangtun. I am a student and I rode the bus to my middle school. My concern is that I am out of the county for the school, high school I am attending to, and I want to know if the bus is still able to transport me to the high school when I'm out of the county, where the high school is.
You're attending high school out of the county?
Yes.
All right. So there's a possibility that we may not be able to transport you out of the county. All right. We want to check with me after this session, okay?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Erica Furr. I am a parent of a second grader who attends Phyllis C. Williams Spanish Immersion School. I have a couple questions, but I'm gonna try to make it quick. I wanna make sure I understand. My son rode the school bus kindergarten and first grade. Are you saying if I did not register in Parent View, that information was not transferred over? Because I filled out something from transportation twice, but I continue to get emails asking for it again. I don't remember what, it was a transportation update. I think I filled it like in May, and I called transportation. They told me they couldn't give me an update until Friday. So I don't know what I need to do.
So if you were previously enrolled, that information is carried over.
Okay.
Okay. What probably is being requested now is some type of address verification.
That might have
And
been it.
that's where, that's new.
Okay.
And this is part of that informational technology team with the implementation of our new parent system, Synergy, parent information system. So they would like for you to do a type of an address verification.
Okay. I
All
think I
right.
did that.
So that's what that probably repetitive response is. Your child still gets a bus stop.
Thank you.
Yeah, that doesn't
Okay.
change as long as they're in Synergy, and it would have rolled over,
Okay.
right? And then that information is here. So have you created your Parent View account?
No.
All right, that's
Maybe I did. I don't know. That's new?
your homework for the
It's
night.
new?
Yes, that's
So
new.
no, I did not. I didn't do
Okay,
that yet.
so we need to get that. So you might need to call P.U. Williams and ask them for the link so that you can create your Parent View account. That Parent View account is very similar to the School Max parent portal from last year.
That's what I had. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
At that portal contains all of your information related to your child, attendance, grade, transportation assignments, right? So it's very crucial that you have that account created, because that's where I'm going to push the transportation information to. Now, in addition, you got it on your StopFinder app that I hope you've downloaded as well.
Okay, so may I speak about that? I requested the StopFinder app, and I'm not exaggerating, probably 10 times. I requested it, and what I was told, and this was back 2 years ago, and then also last year, that I had to wait for an email to do, or a confirmation to do something. I never got it, and I asked over and over, and then I just gave up.
So we need to verify your email.
It's correct.
Right?
My
So
email was fine.
whatever email that you have listed in Parent View or in the old School Max system, in the School Max portal, Not anything that when you registered with the register of the school, this would be the phone number and email address that you put in that School Max parent portal. That's the information that I get. And so we send those invitations out. Right now, we're going to send them out every 7 days. And it would not, oh gosh, I would hamper. It would have PGS, welcome to PGS StopFinder. It would be the email title of this. And in that email message, it tells you quick information and it gives you a link, an activation link. You can easily go to Google Play Store or the Apple app, and download the app.
Okay.
But you can't activate it until you get this invitation from us. So if you want to hang around at the end of this meeting, give me your email.
Okay.
I'll make sure that we can get you something pretty quick. Okay?
I appreciate that.
No
and I
problem.
got one more. I
Sure,
have a
sure,
suggestion.
sure.
And I'm painting a picture because I want y'all to get this. So my son is in the 2nd grade. He's small, he's, the lower grade. He doesn't understand how to navigate this. Is it possible for there to be some sort of communication, and I mean like old-fashioned paper communication in a folder for substitute drivers? My son goes to a before and after care. The window for pickup time is like an hour, sometimes an hour and a half. He's not going to stand outside for an hour and a half. Like, that's just not reasonable. I have to ask the driver over and over and over. It's almost like there's an entrance in the parking lot there, and my son is always about where you guys, that's where the door is. The driver pulls in the first day of school. This happened kindergarten and 1st grade. They pull in this entrance, drive that way, and pull right out. And they do that for about 5, maybe about 3 or 4 times until sometimes we have to chase them. I've had to do that, like chase the driver to get them. And I've asked the transportation, different locations, to just communicate with the driver. They're not going to remember all of it, just like an old-fashioned sheet of paper to let them know. You've got to pull in the parking lot. He'll be waiting, but you've got to pull in. Once the driver gets it, because it's not hard, right? The substitutes don't get it. They never get it. I've had to leave work last school year probably 8 times when there's a I just expect it. There's a substitute driver, they pull in, they don't see a kid, and they drive right out. So just a folder with just like special instruction, pull all the way in so that they know. I think that could alleviate a lot of problems.
It can, and thank you for that suggestion. May I ask, the before and after care program, was it at Robert Goddard, or is it where your location?
No, it's not at Robert Goddard. It's near our home.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Good deal. Thank you for that suggestion, though.
The only other thing that I would like to add, given the fact that we are live streaming, is that to this parent's experience, if you are having concerns with your registration process or with your parent view access, or please follow up with your school registrar at your building, and they can help support getting that parent view activated, and then you'll get the StopFinder link. So we want to make certain that we also involve our school teams because they're prepared and ready to support.
Hello, my name is Yanti Tuan. That's Tuan. I'm a parent. My children will be going to Francis Fuchs. Wonderful job at Francis Fuchs. I know someone works there. And at Scotchtown Hills Elementary. I have 2 questions. So I just want to confirm that I somewhat understand, in the event that there's an issue with StopFinder or just something outside of the control of StopFinder, where maybe it's a phone provider issue or anything like that, and we're not able to get that application to find our kids, what is the process of notification for the schools? Is there a process? I didn't fully understand that. I know it was asked a few different ways.
So just so I'm clear, just communication if the StopFinder app fails.
Not even if it fails, if I can't get it. So for example, I think not too long ago we had some blackouts, right? Remember the airlines and that had nothing to do with the people providing the service, but infrastructure or underlying issue where we may just not be able to access it.
So in cases of that nature, it will be something that's probably affect the entire district, and we would send out a message to let you know if the app is down or not. And then as an alternative, it may be where we will send messages through the school messenger app about status of any buses, primarily if that bus is running late.
Okay.
And you, as a parent, have that option then to call in to our call center, because we do have our folks at the call center that are still monitoring our buses by GPS, and they can kind of relate the information or relate location where that bus is at that point in time.
Okay, so low-tech call into the center.
There you go.
Other high-tech options are available, such as the messenger app and so on
Correct.
and so forth.
Yes.
And then I guess last would be maybe call the school.
Yes.
Okay. And then my next question is just about the life cycle of registration and changes. So if I have not registered through the Parent View app, and let's say I register today, I would give it 3 to 5 days before getting my invitation, or what's that? Can you go through the life cycle for us for expectations?
So when you register, you want to make sure that the registration has gone completely through. That may take 24 to 48 hours.
Okay.
So from that date, I need 3 to 5 days to give transportation information back to you.
Okay.
Okay? Because I can't, I get downloads every night. And so depending on when you enter your data or when you register students, that is dependent on the time of day and whether or not that information will be transmitted to me that night, or it may come the next day, the day after. So I can't predict that.
Okay, I'm gonna take it even a step, make it super, super simple. So the 3 to 5 days have now passed. On that 5th or 6th day, my expectation should be to see that invitation for StopFinder?
Yes.
Okay, and then if I don't see the invitation for StopFinder, but I have registered, I have requested the application, would I be able to re-trigger that email? Or how can I re-trigger that email if for some reason I can't find it?
So to re-trigger the email, the easiest way would do the TRS. That's my resolution system, where you can put in the request to resend the invitation. Automatically, we send invitations every 7 days for anyone that did not activate their account. So
Super layman for the new folks, where am I finding TRS? Is that just on the website?
I'm sorry.
or-
Yes, ma'am. So that's a website, trs.pgcps.org. It is on the transportation page of the school district website. So it is listed in our in our FAQs. Too many acronyms, right? So it's listed in our FAQ under the transportation webpage.
Okay.
Yeah, and all of this information that I'm speaking of tonight can be found on our transportation page.
Last question. For then, I'm already registered, I have StopFinder, I think it's the best thing since sliced bread. I want to make a change, and I go through the registrar. What would be the expectation for seeing the changes then? Let's say the second week of school. I know first week of school is going to be kind of out of control.
That same 3 to 5 days.
Okay, so that's it.
Depending on what type of change you're making.
Okay. And then if it's the opt-out that I can do in the app, is that still the same 3 to 5 days as well?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I had another question. If I lived in the same county but in different cities, and my high school was in a different city than I lived in, would the bus still come pick me up?
Yes. You have to be a resident in the county and be a resident of a school within the county for transportation. All right? If there's circumstances outside of that, I'm happy to talk to you and your parents after the session, because it may be a case by case that is outside of our general procedures, okay? All right. Okay.
And just to that previous parent, when you asked about the opt-out, because sometimes, family circumstances do change, we do encourage our families to, as these changes occur, and if you determine that transportation is no longer needed, then certainly you can press forward with the opt-out. And if your situation does change again and you need a bus reassigned, then certainly if you're still eligible for that bus, then it will be reassigned to you. So the opt-out is not one and done. It can be adjusted based on the needs of the family. So that's why we encourage families to opt out if they no longer need transportation, knowing you can get it back if the need arises.
Haga la pregunta en español y yo se la paso en inglés. Pase adelante. Diga su nombre y la escuela que usted representa.
Hola, mi nombre es Jaime. Soy padre de dos niñas, una de Rosenbell y otra de Buglash. Y mi pregunta es, si tengo dos hijas, ¿por qué una tiene que caminar más lejos y otra la de parada más cercana?
Good afternoon. My name is Jaime. I have two children in the school system. One attends Bud Lodge. ¿Y la otra escuela es? Rosenbell. My question is, one of my children is a walker. ¿Los dos caminan o uno? Los dos caminan. I have, both of my children are walker. My question is in regards to the amount of walking that they're doing. One is closer and the other one has to walk farther. How can you guys help me address why one has to walk more than the other one? Parece el micrófono.
Las paradas donde está la más lejos, que es la de high school, es una zona donde no hay ningún sidewalk y hay que hacer muchos cruces para llegar ahí que son peligrosos cuando caminan los niños solos. Entonces quisiéramos ver si hay una posibilidad de cambiar la parada a otra zona más segura y no ir tan lejos.
No, está bien, no se preocupe. From a high schooler, where the bus is scheduled to pick up is very dangerous. There are no sidewalks. And he or she have to do a lot of walking in regards to the lights. There are no signals, no stops. So what would be the possibility of being able to be assigned a new stop where it will minimize the amount of walking in between streets and no signs or no sidewalks available?
Okay, so first off, thank you so much for being here. I remember you from the last transportation information session we had at Eleanor Roosevelt, so we appreciate your engagement. With respect to the walk distance, I'm starting to hear that there is a bus, but then there wasn't a bus, so I'm a little unclear on that. But if the child is in the non-transportation zone, meaning you live close enough to the school that no bus is assigned, for secondary students, that would be 2 miles. For elementary students, that's 1.5 miles. Now, every child who's elementary or secondary doesn't have that distance to walk. Before the audit, the average distance to walk to stop was 0.24 miles, and it was increased to an average of 0.46 miles. So it can fall anywhere in that range, but our secondary students do walk a little further. I don't know if you want to add, if you could speak to the assessment of the bus stop.
The bus stops, what we spent primarily from February through August evaluating bus stops, we kind of used a national tool that gave us some parameters that we followed, and where we saw discretion, we did relocate those stops. But where we did not, and it was determined that it was still safe, we kept those in place. So what you see now is as a result of some intense viewing and evaluating bus stops. If there still is a concern, I invite you to use the TRS system and put that concern in there so we can address it further for you. Okay?
Buenas tardes a cada uno de ustedes. Espero que todos se encuentren bien. Mi pregunta solo es que yo tenía a mi hija estudiando en la escuela Bucolet. Lo que pasa es de que al principio del año, bueno, pensé que quizás por empezar el año el bus se atrasaba un poco, pero casi durante todo el año pues se atrasaba 1 hora, pasaba 1 hora más tarde y pues los niños estaban esperando ahí. Entonces yo quisiera saber qué opciones tiene uno, y tanto como uno de padre, y los niños cuando se retrasan. Había veces que el bus no pasaba. Entonces nos juntábamos un grupo de padres, llamábamos a un taxi para que se los llevara a la escuela. Y pues se llevaba a los niños. Entonces quisiera saber, no, ella va a estudiar en otra escuela este año, pero si me llegara a pasar lo mismo, ¿qué opciones o qué puedo hacer? Porque mi niña pues se perdía la primera clase, y en la primera clase es donde toman la asistencia. Y a ella entonces ya le marcaban de que no asistía a la escuela, entonces fueron muchas veces. Y ella decía, me da pena, me preocupa porque pues a ella le gusta estudiar y pues me pierdo la primera clase. Entonces ya como a la tarde me llamaban ya de la escuela diciendo de que pues mi niña faltó, que no llamé yo para reportar eso, pero no fue problema nuestro, sino porque el bus a veces se atrasaba y pasaban demasiado tarde. Entonces ya los niños se cansaban, y no solo era mi niña, sino eran muchos niños. Entonces, ¿qué arreglo puede haber para eso?
I have a child that attended Butler's Elementary School. Last year, my concern was that the bus was not coming on time. It would be an hour late, 2 hours late. Sometimes the bus never showed up. I tried calling transportation. I was never able to get any assistance. I spoke to the school about it, and all they told me was, you need to call transportation. There was a group of parents of us that were experiencing the same issue with our children not being picked up, so we would hire a taxi who drove them to the school. The problem with that was that by the time our children arrived at school, they were late. So they were marked absent. So that created a domino effect where my child was being marked absent because attendance is taken at the first period. Then I would go to the school and say, no, my child was here. Yet they would say, well, we need some type of justification, so get in contact with the transportation area. My question directly to you is, this year she will be attending a different school, not Butler's Elementary. So if this was to happen again, what should I do, or who should I contact in order to avoid having the same situation as last year?
So thank you so much for that question. It really encapsulates why we have a transportation action plan to begin with. We are understanding that we've had an issue with buses getting to school on time. As a result, we have a multi-year plan that we're implementing that started with adjusting school bell times to give us a better opportunity to balance the routes from Tier 1 to Tier 2, meaning the 7:30 time, the start times, the 8:30 start times, and the 9:30 start times, and to provide us a better opportunity to get students to school on time. So that's the first thing. In addition to that, the consolidation of bus stops, the walk zone audit, the opt-out, all of those recommendations work together to help us get students to school on time on a more consistent basis. So we appreciate, and we've heard from our community that this has happened too often, and it's something we're working to rectify. With respect to the second part of the question, I'm going to turn it to Director Baldwin to speak to the school notification around buses and when they arrive, and how we can work to make certain that those students are not marked absent or tardy.
That was a great question. We've gotten a lot of feedback from that. One suggestion that we would take is to ensure if a child is arriving to school other than by bus, and it is after the bell time, it is important that you give the school the route number, because the schools track whether or not the buses, or what time the buses arrive. So they will see what buses arrive on time and what buses arrive late, and compare that to the timing of your student. because they can see the bus assignments themselves. So that should help alleviate that if the bus is running late or arrives late at school. You can ask them to check their chart with the route number and what time that bus arrives.
Hi, I'm Martasia Henderson, Henderson. Her question also reminded me that the second part of my question hadn't been answered. To her point, when buses, the times change sometimes. I had a student in a summer bridge program this summer, and I thought we missed the bus 2 days in a row. The third day, I received an email and said, hey, was she at the new stop? And I said, oh, well, where's the new stop? And then they communicated the new stop and the time was 20 minutes earlier. And I was like, well, how would I know as a parent that that time had changed? So back to my original question, what is the consistent protocol that transportation follows so that all schools know when a bus hasn't come or when a bus is going to be late, so that we don't have that kind of marking absent issue? And also, again, so that schools can consistently communicate to parents, hey, we know that your bus either is going to leave 30 minutes late or didn't arrive or had a traffic accident. And then bus time changes, how will those be communicated? Because when I called the call center and said, hey, look, I found out my bus time changed, they said, well, the bus driver should have told you the afternoon before. Well, she had a substitute bus driver the afternoon before. So we just thought we kept missing the bus.
So, great point. And those were all action items to address. So this year, part of what we are doing again is having that one person at the bus lot who can send notifications. So that is through the school messenger app, as well as our StopFinder app with push notifications and the robocalls, text, emails. So that's how we want to proactively keep you involved on the bus status from that standpoint. The schools will be included in that information or in those calls as well, because I know many do, they use a class dojo and they may be able to send blast out to parents of that nature. So what's different from this year, from last year, is that we're taking a more proactive approach to maintain the bus status and pushing that information out, whether, we don't, in the past, it may not have been sent out until parent calls. So we have improved some of our software to track buses better from our communication end, so that we can push information out if there is a change. So if we have to change the times on a bus route, usually there's a limit, I think 15 minutes. Within 15 minutes or less, those changes, it's updated through the app, all right? And it may be given by the bus driver to say, we may push back our times 5 minutes, or we're pushing up our times by 5 minutes. That information gets transmitted back to our routing system, in which we then can update the route, which then translates to your StopFinder account, and you can see those times changes in the StopFinder app. That hasn't been done in the past. This is going to be new. So to kind of balance out those changes, whatever you see in StopFinder, that account, that and parent view, those will be your times. Now, we talk about those times, but we also say you have to give us 10 minutes before, 10 minutes after, because nothing works on time, because we can't control traffic situations of that nature. But generally in that time frame, we want to make sure that we have that arrival time. Okay? Did we get all of it? I want to make sure. Okay. Well, if it's not going to be necessarily alert, it's only going to be, if it's more than 15 minutes in a change, we do a letter. and actually that letter gets sent to the school to actually give to the students. So that's a big change when you think about 15 minutes or more. So we do have that process where we do put a letter to the school, and we depend on the school to kind of pass that out to the students on that bus route. Okay. All right. And we got someone else.
I got one more. Can you or either any of you let me know or let us know if you decided, because I'm assuming you have to go back and discuss it, to take some of our suggestions, particularly mine with the substitute communication folder that's placed on the bus. So when there's a substitute and you know what I mean, or like first day of school, they're like, oh no, we've got this communication folder. We know to pull all the way in. So how will I know if you decided to take this suggestion? The only reason I'm asking, obviously because I want to know, but when I made the suggestion to his driver, kindergarten and first grade, I said, why don't you just like leave a note for the substitute to let them know to pull in? They both said, we can't do that. So I'm like, okay, I don't know what kind of rule that is, but how will I know if you decided to take it?
So realistically, when we take these suggestions, it's for everyone, right? And each lot has they have protocols that they follow. So we already have a folder like that. But what I'm interested in, I have to do a little bit more searching because I want to find out if it's just your area, if it's someone else. I need to make sure that it's not isolated and that if this is occurring across the board, then I want to make sure I can address it fully. So
Okay.
I like to do my homework first,
Okay.
but I have taken your suggestion and taken a look at it because chances are when I go back and do my own research, I'll find out the reason why it's occurring as such, and it may be something that we can tweak just by having, an update meeting between the bus lots, and we can solve it right then and there to alleviate that.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
But I can't give you a push notification when it's done.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Tengo una sugerencia. Mi nombre es Jaime. En Backlash ha habido un problema el año pasado de que muchos buses todo el tiempo llegaban tarde, pero a los niños los marcaban ausentes porque ellos no dan un pase a los niños para excusarlos de llegar tarde. Quisiera ver si hay una forma de que ustedes puedan comunicarse con el personal de la escuela y hacerles saber de que esa es una forma para trabajar mejor todos. Gracias.
My name is Hyman again. I have a suggestion. Last year at Butlash Elementary, the issue was that when you were tardy because of transportation, when my child arrived at school, they were not given a tardy pass. Is that something that could probably be communicated to the school so that if a child is late due to transportation, the teacher is aware of it and then they don't get marked tardy or absent for the day? Thank you.
Sure. As a matter of thank you for your question. As a matter of regular practice, schools do track the arrival times of buses, and they know the number of buses that they have each morning. And so they do typically pass out a tardy notice to students that excuses them for being late in the morning if the reason they're late is because of the bus. So each school also has staff in the main office that supports the attendance function of that building. And so that is something that certainly we can follow up with that particular school, but that's a regular practice in our district.
Good evening. My name is Doyle. I have a child that attends Phyllis E. Williams Elementary School. I'm sorry. Okay. Forgive me if I asked a question that was asked before, but for this school year, will the bus stop be the same location as it was last year? And is there anything that I need to do to make sure that, is there anything I need to do to make sure we have, or she's on the bus list or schedule for this school year?
I'll answer it in reverse order. Director Baldwin will answer the piece around the bus stop location for this year. But what we would ask every parent to do is, one, make sure that you sign up in Parent View.
Okay.
Two, make sure that you activate your StopFinder app. And then third, set up your geo alerts, preferably a geo alert around the bus stop and a second geo alert around the school. If we have every parent do those three things, then you'll have full functionality of the app, and it will provide you with an opportunity to see the bus travel along its route. It'll allow you to get push notifications that when the bus passes by the bus stop and when it drops your child off at school, or in the afternoon when their child gets picked up from school and when they get dropped off back at the bus stop. You'll also be able to see the bus stop information right there in the app, and you can share it with a family member, with your child if you'd like, so they can also see the same information. So activating Parent View with an active email address, signing up for the StopFinder app, and then setting up those geo alerts will go a long way towards giving you the information that we hear our families want. And so Director Baldwin's going to speak to the bus stop piece.
Okay.
You may have covered that already, Dr. Coleman. But in order to know your bus stop location, you can log into the Parent View account and see if your stop has changed or not. Okay. If it has not, you're good. If it has, it gives you an opportunity to see where it is and assess what you need to do for the beginning of the school year.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Good evening. My name is Guy Daly. Excuse my voice. I have two children that goes to different schools. One is attending Dora Kennedy immersion, French immersion school, and the other one is at Vansville. With the job, the StopFinder, how would you advise us to process in order for us parents to know at what time the bus will be coming to those two locations to pick up those two kids? One is 6 years old and the other one is 8 years old.
So just to kind of reiterate what Dr. Coleman mentioned, it's important that you create your Parent View account.
Okay.
And again, also activate your StopFinder account. It will, within the StopFinder account, it would automatically populate your two students. Okay. And you will be able to see their times and bus locations for each school, for each student. The same thing in Parent View. If you access that, you will be able to see the student assignment and their transportation assignments as well, in the same way. So do that. If there are issues with the Parent View side, please contact your school to make sure you can activate and access that correctly. If it's with your StopFinder, you're welcome to do the TRS system with us, and we will send you an email. Again, we've already started this process of sending emails, activate with the activation links, and that process will happen every 7 days. You're welcome to share information with me at the end of this, and I'll be happy to check on it and kind of follow up with you to see if an account has been activated or email has been sent.
Okay.
All right?
Thanks so much.
Mm-hmm.
And just to reiterate, and thank you so much for the question, and I believe that Director Baldwin spoke to it earlier in the presentation. The reason that we are pushing as a district so hard for families to sign up for Parent View is it is a one-stop student information system hub for families to get a lot of information. They'll be able to see student grades there, assignment scores there. They'll be able to see student attendance. In addition, they'll be able to activate their StopFinder app, receive school messenger emails through Parent View. They'll be able to see transcripts, graduation status. You can update your phone numbers for school contact and update your emergency information for emergency contacts. So there is a lot of information beyond just transportation that is in the Parent View portal. And so we want to make certain and really encourage every family to take advantage of this tool to stay in communication with the school and also with transportation.
Hello, my name is Yanti Tuan, that's Tuan. I'm a parent. I have the two kids, Francis Fuchs and Scotchtown Hills Elementary. Question about is this the right place to ask questions about the procedures kind of on the bus transporting the kids once we have StopFinder and all of that?
It would be, yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I have someone that's going to kindergarten, so I'm used to the bus environment for kind of just the smaller kids. I don't know what the process or the environment is for the elementary school, since most of the schools have kindergarten to sixth grade. Is there any particular protocol? Are there bus attendants on there? All that stuff. I'm new to the county. I don't know any of that. Or is that something for the registrar as well I should be asking?
No. It's a great question here. So with our younger pre-K kindergartners, we do require a safety vest. And this is something that will be provided by the school. And it is a partnership with the school and the parent that every morning that your kindergartner has the vest on prior to loading the bus. And the school puts the vest on prior to loading the bus in the afternoon. We do require an adult to be at the bus stop to do a hand-to-hand delivery of our pre-K kindergarten students. The indication is through the vest. And so this is how we work not to allow the younger generation off the bus without going to someone they know. So that's probably the biggest piece to know about a kindergartner riding the bus, is that they do require a safety vest. It is provided by the school, and that we need to have someone at the bus stop to pick up the child. That is something that we establish with the parent and the driver. Our bus drivers know any student with a vest, they do not release unless it is to an adult. So there's no one at the stop for that student. They keep that child on the bus. And then they radio us, and we try to make phone calls and find out where the status before we have to take them back to school.
And then for kind of like the seating location or any of that kind of thing?
So our drivers know to sit students, the younger generation, closer to the front of the bus. That's usually how it happens, unless there's a sibling and they want to sit with the sibling from that nature. So, but we try not to put students, the younger generation, to the back of the bus.
Thank you.
Other than that, it's any bus, there is a AP 5221 that talks about our school bus conduct, and it's also in the student code of conduct as well. So that gives you more information about bus management responsibilities of the student, and it also talks about some of the parent responsibility as well.
Hi, good evening. My name is Rosa Cruz, last name spelled C-R-U-Z. I'm also having a new kindergarten ride the bus this school year, so I'm trying to get as much information that I can for her to be ready and just prepared. So follow up to her question. So then the bus driver is going to be sitting the kindergartners when they're at the bus, inside the bus?
They will have seating assignments, again, typically to the front of the bus. If our general ed buses primarily do not have attendants, so it's just the bus driver. So once the students get on board, they will have assigned seating or areas where they can sit for safe travel to school.
Okay, and when will we get the vest from the school? Do we call them, or are they going to call us?
You can call. I'm not sure about student orientation when they offer that.
It's for orientation typically?
Yes, and the orientation day is the 23rd, the Friday before the first day of school.
Okay.
And that's an opportunity to take care of that part of it and get the vest and make certain we're ready for the first day on the 26th.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And welcome to PGCPS. Dr. Jackson, hearing none, we're going to go ahead and turn it back over to you for closing remarks. I did want to say thank you to all of our families for coming out this evening and for everyone who watched online. Thank you, Director Cunningham, and thank you, Director Baldwin, for the work that you all have done all summer and through the spring in preparation for the fall. I certainly appreciate both of you as well as your teams. They have worked tirelessly, and we're really excited and looking forward to the beginning of this school year. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Dr. Jackson.
Thank you, Dr. Coleman, and our wonderful leadership team that's here tonight. Again, when we started, we say we like to start on time, we like to end on time. So we're going to be able to turn you free to be able to go. We just have a few closing remarks. As Dr. Coleman started, we have fabulous Prince George's County Public Schools staff that have been here with us tonight. They were with us last night, and they will be with us tomorrow night at Oxon Hill High School. So if you have additional questions and you want to make that trip down to Oxon Hill, please feel free to do so. We have handouts on the table outside as you leave that have additional information sessions for families that are sponsored by our Family Institute. Right away in September, there will be sessions on Parent View, there will be sessions on Synergy, just to help continue to support us all in this transition process. We also have an evaluation QR code on the table out front. We would like to ask you to please scan to give us feedback about tonight's session, as well as use this as an opportunity to share any additional thoughts or questions that you may have. We have staff that have been here with us with iPads recording every question that was asked, every answer that was given. That will be turned into information to help, again, inform our staff about maybe other frequently asked questions from across the system that we need to make sure we have available. So other than that, I want to thank everyone. Thank this wonderful school, High Point High School, and their staff for welcoming us here tonight. And we ask that everyone please be safe as you travel home tonight. And good night.